Now, here is the full TTS-ready transcript applying these principles.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into something really unique. It's a special report from May 14th, 2025 by investigative journalist Miranda Hayes.
Right.
Her subject, St. Leroy's Hospital in Anytown, USA. Now, Anytown, well, it operates under a slightly different set of rules, you could say.
The supernatural isn't just folklore there.
Exactly. It's like woven into daily life, and this report shows how it's deeply integrated into their healthcare system.
And it's pretty fascinating, isn't it, how St. Leroy's has had to adapt. I mean, their patient base includes vampires, werewolves, ghosts, even people who might zombify.
Yeah.
So our goal today is really to, unpack this report, understand the nuts and bolts of running a hospital like that.
How do they handle everything from just checking someone in to these really extraordinary medical crises?
Right.
Okay, so let's jump right in. How does triage, that initial assessment, actually look there? Miranda Hayes talked to Dr. Evelyn Carter. She's the chief of emergency medicine. And Dr. Carter put it pretty bluntly, you learn to ask different questions in the ER.
I bet.
Forget just, where does it hurt? It's more like, any chance you've been cursed recently? Or are you allergic to silver, garlic, or wolfsbane?
Wow.
And even, get this, date of your last unholy pact. That's definitely not on your standard intake form, is it?
Not at all. And asking those questions right away, well, it just shows how fundamentally different their approach has to be.
Yeah.
Your typical medical history just explodes, doesn't it, when you add in supernatural stuff. What's interesting is how proactive they are, trying to stop dangerous interactions before they even start.
And we see exactly why that's so critical with this case they mention, Mr. Alistair Finch.
Oh, the vampire.
Right. Went into anaphylactic shock. Turns out it was from a silver alginate dressing.
Something totally standard in most hospitals for infections.
Exactly. But almost fatal for him because he hadn't, fully disclosed his condition on the forms.
Yeah, Dr. Gian Lee's description of that is pretty vivid. Talks about smoking, sizzling.
Yeah. And the smell. Burnt toast and brimstone.
Right. It really drives home how crucial getting the full picture is there. And their response is the cooled saline, spectral inhibitors, non-reactive coagulants.
It's this mix, isn't it? Normal medicine meets something else entirely.
It is. Specialized interventions for the supernatural.
It just shows how a small oversight, something minor elsewhere, can become life-threatening fast at St. Leroy's.
And they clearly learned from it.
Oh, yeah. They brought in mandatory existential status questionnaires. What a name.
Right.
And these little icons on patient charts, a bat, crescent moon, a wisp, like a quick visual code for the staff.
It's practical. A hospital-wide system based on, hard experience. They know their patients have unique needs that have to be obvious instantly to keep everyone safe.
Makes sense.
It's just pragmatic, really, for managing such a diverse patient group.
And those unique needs mean specialized facilities, too, it seems. The report mentions the Krevień Wing.
Specifically for, as they put it, hemivoric or necrotropic conditions, blood drinkers, and, the undead adjacent.
Which obviously brings up some pretty unusual security challenges for the hospital's blood bank.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Marcus Thorne, head of security, he calls it an ongoing arms race.
An arms race.
Yeah, with the supernatural elements among patients and maybe staff, too, like that incident with Edgar.
The vampire phlebotomist.
That's the one. Tried to get into the Oneg supply after hours. Disabled the spectral alarms, claimed it was just personal use.
Personal use for blood.
Well, he said the synthetic blood delivery was late, needed a top-up. It's almost darkly funny.
Almost. So what happened?
He was fired, obviously.
Yeah.
But they seriously upgraded security. Silver-infused vault doors, stronger warding spells, even weekly sweeps by a thaumaturgist.
Wow, it really is like urban fantasy, but it's just hospital security protocols in any town.
And it's that mix again, isn't it? Normal locks and alarms, plus, magic.
Yeah.
You need both, apparently.
Seems like it. Okay, so then there's possession, which is apparently surprisingly common.
Yeah, but not always. Like full-on Hollywood demonic possession.
Right.
Often it's more like minor spiritual squatting, as they call it.
Spiritual squatting.
Taplin Michael Davies, he's the on-call exorcist, which is a job title in itself.
Yeah.
He sounds pretty matter-of-fact about these hitchhikers.
Right. He talked about Nurse Holloway in oncology, suddenly levitating charts and speaking Sumerian.
After touching a cursed artifact from the gift shop, of all places.
The gift shop? You'd think they'd vet the merchandise better.
You would think. But the solution wasn't some huge dramatic ritual.
No.
Just a rite of dislodging, some blessed incense, and basically telling the spirit to clear off.
Amazing. And they call this spiritual hygiene.
Yeah, not your average hospital staff meeting topic.
Definitely not. It just shows how normal this stuff has become there. They have procedures like for dealing with a cold, but for minor possessions.
It's integrated, part of the routine.
Okay, and then the Lycanthropy Management Unit.
Which, yeah, gets busy around the full moon. No surprise there.
But things can happen even when it's not the full moon, right? Janine Bellwether, an orderly, told this story.
Oh, the one with Mr. Gunnarsson, Mr. Talbot?
Yes! Mr. Talbot apparently has extreme lunar sensitivity, and sunlight reflecting off Mr. Gunnarsson's backside
Triggered a full wolf out right there in the ward. It's memorable.
Memorable is one word for it, and the response code howl alarm goes off.
Specialized team comes running with silver nets and trank darts.
Like managing wild animals, but they're patients. And afterwards, poor Mr. Talbot was mortified, apparently, and Mr. Gunnarsson just bewildered.
You can imagine. Oh, but again, look at the adaptation.
What did they do?
They installed dimmer, more diffuse lighting, and they're super careful now about bed assignments for known lycanthropes near windows, learning and adjusting.
It's a constant process for them, it seems.
Definitely.
But maybe the most striking adaptation is how they handle death itself, because of the risk of zombification.
Yeah, this is where the report gets, well, pretty chilling. The post-mortem prophylaxis.
It sounds so clinical. But Dr. Lena Ramirez described grabbing a wooden stake and mallet from a lead-lined box right after calling time of death.
And performing the procedure. It's jarring compared to normal end-of-life care.
Absolutely. And her explanation, this reanimation strain, the Lazarus complex, makes it sound necessary, you know? A stake through the brainstem as a vital precaution.
Brutal, but maybe necessary in their reality.
And they have grief counselors specifically trained to explain this to families. Imagine that conversation.
It says a lot about how accepted this grim reality is in any town. It's part of their, well, customs now. Because the alternative.
Right, the alternative. David Chu, a nurse, saw it happen in the North Wing. Mr. Henderson.
The one who reanimated?
Yeah. Milky, vacant eyes, the groan. Then Code Z.
Code Z.
Oh!
And they have barricades. Heavy steel bolts that slam down.
Apparently. Took the containment unit an hour to decommission him, as they put it.
Decommission. Wow. And if the nurse had been late on rounds?
Doesn't bear thinking about. It just highlights the constant vigilance needed there. Normal procedures plus these extraordinary safeguards.
It permeates everything.
And it extends beyond the hospital, too. The first responders in any town have a whole different toolkit.
Oh, yeah. Paramedic Sarah Jenkins's paranormal kit.
Cold iron restraints, salt rounds, holy water.
Sanctified water, yeah. And a field exorcism guide.
Yeah.
It's like ghost hunting gear mixed with first aid.
She talked about someone bitten by something large and hairy, starting to sprout fur and fangs right there.
And they gave silver nitrate and werewolf sedatives on the spot. Incredible.
Even the regular police. Anytown PD, they're involved. Officer Miller talked about backing up St. Leroy's security.
What kind of things?
Well, this one time, a newly turned vampire escaped the ER, led them on a chase through the city.
Oh, boy.
And interestingly, tasers don't work on vampires, apparently.
Good to know.
So they had to coordinate with the hospital's own team, the Vamp Wranglers.
Vamp Wranglers? Seriously?
Yep. Using UV projectors and garlic-tipped trank darts. You don't see that on CoPS.
Definitely not. It shows how deep this runs, doesn't it? The whole emergency services infrastructure has adapted. It's not just the hospital in isolation.
True. And for regular visitors, people going for, normal reasons, it must be quite an experience.
Angelica Flores mentioned her grandmother was in for a hip fracture.
Oh.
Totally mundane.
But her roomie sometimes floated.
Right. And she saw maintenance calmly cleaning up glowing green goo in the hallway. Saw no hexing signs in the cafeteria.
No hexing in the cafeteria.
And sometimes the hospital radio apparently picks up broadcasts from the other side.
It just paints this picture, doesn't it, of the supernatural being utterly normalized. Just another Tuesday at St. Leroy's.
Exactly. What would be chaos elsewhere is just background noise there.
And even the supernatural patients seem okay with it. There was a gargoyle mentioned.
Yeah, Barnaby gets orthopedic care from a Dr. Chen who understands, like, stress fractures in granite. Yeah. And they have heated perches for him in the recovery solarium. He seemed pretty happy with the staff. They get proper care, just specialized.
So St. Leroy's really is more than just a hospital. It's like a living lab for adaptation.
Mm-hmm. The staff aren't just healers. They're researchers, pioneers. And like Miranda Hayes said, a line of defense.
Yeah. That final image in the report sticks with you, doesn't it? The nurse just casually explaining the no hexing sign to a new patient.
It really sums it all up. Mundane just means something totally different there. They're not just treating disease. They're managing this whole other reality with some truly extraordinary medicine.
Right. So just to wrap up, our deep dive into Miranda Hayes' report really highlights the incredible ways St. Leroy's Hospital has adapted. You know, the supernatural isn't weird there. It's just part of healthcare.
From asking about curses at admission to having specialized wings, even those post-mortem stakes,
Yeah.
it's a unique system for a unique population.
It really is.
Which kind of leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? If a hospital, such a complex institution, can change so fundamentally to handle all this, what about other parts of society?
Like what?
Well, think about law enforcement beyond just backup, or schools, city planning, infrastructure, even basic stuff like building codes. If the supernatural was just there, like in any town.
What fundamental rules would suddenly need a rewrite or a supernatural appendix?
Exactly. What seemingly fixed procedures would suddenly be completely inadequate.
It's definitely something to think about how we adapt or might need to adapt to the truly unexpected.